Hei, kia ora mai tātou te whānau. Man, what a yucky day today is. It's raining here in Auckland. But what I'm going to show you is just some of the things, or just a couple of things that I'm thinking of and doing around my marakai. Even though it's raining, I'm still active. I'm thinking through processes. I'm thinking about what needs to come up. And I'm thinking about Hauora. It's a name of our wānanga that's coming up in May the 15th to the 17th up here at Whitiora Marae. It's called Ringaraupa Hauora. We've got a number of guest speakers coming and sharing from their experience around Hauora and the disciplines that they use and the platforms that they use, ranging from marakai to rongoa Māori to mirimiri to clay pottery, or that whole pottery uku work, using musical instruments, in particular Māori music instruments. So yeah, if you want to have a look at that, jump onto Waiatua Trust webpage, which is www.waiatua trust altogether and .org.nz, and you'll see the registration process there. While it's raining, I'm just going to show you some stuff, some of the things that I do in regards to thinking about my own well-being and what I'm doing with the garden while it's raining. I'll just flick this around and show you stuff, and yeah, have a great day. It's awesome. God bless. Ka ua ana. It's raining. So we were away for a wedding that we had in Auckland yesterday. We got back last night, Josh and I, and beautiful weather, and they had the wedding on the beach, and we got back and it was hinting at raining yesterday, but got up this morning and raining, and there was a power cut too, so just waiting out for that to be resolved. But here's what I do. Here's some things that I've done after I've had my morning routines of a shower and so forth. The first thing I'm doing is I have got into a discipline for the last 2 months of fasting, and I use a 16-hour, 8-hour ratio, and I do this every day. It's part of my now Hauora well-being space, and so the idea is I'll fast for 16, and it gives me opportunities to reflect, to ponder what's going on, to pray, to meditate, to reflect on scripture, to reflect on what's going on in my garden, whilst it's resettling my body. I'm losing body fat, and just allowing the gut health to restore itself. Now, some of the other activities that I do with that is, so I have my morning routine. I'll then crack out 50 press-ups. Started off with 10, just keep working it up, but 50 press-ups. And then what I've done is for personal health. Now, I'm not prescribing these or anything. These are just what I do. So it's an educational purposes. If you do have health issues, please do consult your doctor or your medical professional before you adopt any lifestyle changes, just to make sure that what you're wanting to do and the needs that you're trying to resolve is good for you and your body type and so forth. But these are the things that I've done, more so from the perspective of understanding my own body and the networks. Now, some of the stuff that I'm applying are generic, but I've just added these into my lifestyle. So there's fasting, there's the press ups, so there's exercise, running, and I go to the gym, work in the garden. But I've just got some shots here of a couple of things that I've added into my routine. And so this was full at the beginning of the year, and we will need to fill it up. But I've got a mixture of garlic cloves and honey, and these are fusing together. I find it takes out the potentness in the sense of the smell of the garlic. And so I take a clove a day, and I've been doing that since a few years, just to build up health inside my body. Both the honey and the garlic fuse together, and according to those that are into these types of health remedies, they go back to ancient days of this kind of combination. And so this is more about, for me, it's a preventative space, and so I'm wanting to just build up my body's resistance to common colds and flus and hopefully COVID, and also fight what's going on, the bad bacteria and issues within my stomach. So I'll take a teaspoon of that and one of those. The other thing that I've done is I've also fermented for probiotics. This is ginger and water, distilled water, not tap water. But the idea behind this is this is called a ginger bug, and we make, well, you could make ginger beer, but I use cranberry juice, blackberry juice in these bottles, and then I put a cup of this juice inside that and allow that to ferment, and it'll start going all fizzy. And once it's ready, after I've burped it over a couple of days, then I'll chuck it in the fridge, and that's my drink. But we've got this going. This is a ginger bug that we add to our juices, which then instead of being too reliant on the fizzy drinks that are made, we make our own fizzy juices, which then the probiotics that's going on in here again helps our tummy bug. This bug here takes about 5 days to start, and the way I did it, and I do it, is we've actually grown garlic ourselves, ginger ourselves, and I normally just cut off a bit here, like a plant head, and that'll grow, and same with that one. I'll cut off a bit, and normally about, let's say, a tablespoon, and I'll chuck it in the water, and then I'll do a tablespoon of sugar, white sugar or brown sugar in the case that I put in here, mix it all together, and then each day for 5 days until we start seeing the bubbling. As you can see, the bubbles percolating in there. The bubbles. It's fermented, so it's fizzy. And you do it for about 5 days, and then that then gives you once it starts bubbling, you can taste it as well. If it's a bit too potent, I'd add a bit more sugar. But what's going on there now, I don't know the science, but the sugar is getting eaten by the microbes and the features inside, which then turns into the bug for us. And if we're away, I just chuck that in the fridge, close it off, chuck it in the fridge, and then to reactivate it, I just add sugar and a bit more ginger to the process. So those are two things that we're doing. We're making our own fermented drinks. They're good for probiotics, sort of things. And the other thing is we've been a long time user of Usana Health Sciences. which they provide skincare range, shakes and drinks, but also their multi-minerals. We've been with Usana since 2023. There is a business side of it, but we haven't been doing that for the last 10 or so years, but more so the product side. Dr. Myra Wentz is the founder of Usana Health Sciences, so I add, these are quite good. These are daily and evening sachets with multi-minerals, calcium, and other vitamins that I add to my daily routine. But as we look out here, it's a bit wet in the garden, but my routine in my garden is if I'm not doing any work per se, like digging or anything like that, I tend to walk around with bare feet in my mudder, and I suppose that's the third level of looking after my health, is I'm what they call grounding, or I'm just reconnecting to the earth. This process of synchronizing the energy that's going on in my body with the earth and bringing it back into alignment. According to those that do a lot around this grounding movement globally, that 15 minutes of standing on the grass or sitting like on that stool that I've just got there with my feet on the grass starts to reverse all the inflammation that's in our bodies. And so if you want to know a bit more about that and helping the internal functions of our bodies, particularly around inflammation and the toxicity that it produces, have a look at the grounding movement. I always wondered why I never really got sick much as a child, out playing outside all the time, but as an adult we tend to be a bit more disconnected. So I'm doing that, and at the same time I might be thinking about my messages that I'm doing for Sunday. I'm thinking about the passages. Like at the moment I'm in the process of preparing a 11-week series on key personalities within the scripture, and in particular how God takes ordinary people, transforms them, and empowers them to do extraordinary things for their time and season that God raised them up. The principle being is that today you and I can be used by God, and it doesn't matter where we've come from, what we've done. It's Him that calls, He transforms, and then He commissions us into whatever task or skill or mission He wants us to participate in. So that's happening at the same time. I'll go through particularly once a day, and I'll do a number of things in this particular back garden. We got back from Auckland after being away for 24 hours. So we've got a nursery on this side of the church, and you've seen this before. So over here we've got a seedling germination process that's going on there. Because it's not in outside in the sense of the direct rain coverage, I have to make sure that the soil is moist and not too dry in order that they can grow. So we're watering those. I'll water some of these around. I can just walk out here. I'm staying inside because it's a bit windy, but I do want to show you. So these are under the shelter a little bit, because as the sun goes away, as we change from seasons, from summer to winter, I'm wanting firstly in the summertime to protect the extremities, but I need to water them, so I'll water my plants. Those ones there. By the way, I've got a clue. Someone thinks that these might be swans. I honestly, I had to look them up, what swans are, and I've heard that these are, and from what I researched, that these are a type of plant that are good for our caterpillars and monarch butterflies. According to some of the comments, the schools use them a lot, but they encourage monarch butterflies. And when I was seeing the process and then I saw the seeds, it kind of reminded me, I remember now taking some of the seeds from our whenua and laying them down. But I never knew what the plants were, and I never knew what that was. All I knew is I saw these monarch butterflies. So I think that's what those are. So thanks for the feedback that folk told us about those. So we're just going to grow those and help our monarch butterflies. But not, it's a bit of a sidetrack. So then what I'll do is I'll do a bit of a walk around my garden. I'll check up what's going on in here with my kawakawa. We've got pineapple. We've got I've just planted out some rosemary. We've got some cuttings from when we were away. That has what's the other plant that the guy wanted? He said it was good, alongside pak choi, rosemary, and lavender. So we've got some lavender, and I've just got those sitting on the windowsill in water. So hopefully they'll germinate. The roots will start growing, and then I'll do a similar thing down in here. Now I'm an organic grower, and I don't use any sprays. Although I am going to be looking at spraying baking soda. There's a mixture you can use and spray upon the leaves. But my biggest problem is my snails. They seem to love it. And so just before it gets too dark, I'll be walking around crushing snails. It's a never-ending battle. Is trying to get on top of the snails. But I'll do a bit of weeding. I'll clean up all the feed jars that are dropping. Jokes loves their feed jars. I'll do a bit of seeing what's going on with my banana trees. So I did a bit of weeding around there, chucked all the weeds over by that banana tree over here. Sorry, I'm looking at it while the movie's going all over the show. So I'm just checking on what's happening. I'm thinking about my seedlings and when I need to plant those. I'm preparing in my head the work for that. The other thing we're doing is under the cover over here is I've now got 12 worm farms. I've got someone that I'm raising. They gave me the materials for their worm farm, and so I'm just stocking that up for them. So they'll have between 100 to 150 worms, so they'll start their composting system, and that one's sitting underneath the big worm farm, and underneath those, which if you looked in previous videos, is we're creating the starter worm composting systems. In other words, that you'll have a bit of worm castings, at least 100 worms. It'll actually be about 1 kilogram of material of both worm casting, worm cells, baby worms, mature worms, and then that, once you put it into your bed of your worm farm, your worm system, that inoculates the worm bedding, and the process starts happening. And the worm bed could be as easy as that coconut husk mixed with mulched or cut up cardboard or paper. Or what we've done is we've got a pile of compost mulched bark over the back there, and the smaller bits will add in, and that's enough kai to get them going. And then the worms, once you start feeding them with the kai, you're away. But so we're doing those now, creating worm starter kits for folk in relationship to, you can go to Bunnings or Palmer's Garden Store and buy the system, but they don't sell the worms, so we're offering to fill the gap there. And then it means you basically started your own little composting system, instead of putting the rubbish inside the rubbish bin like in here. That food waste that I've got there is ready for my 12 farms that are going on down there. So I'll check those, I'll aerate them, I'll make sure that it's not too moist or not too dry, and those sort of things. I think I'll run a one Saturday workshop on doing that at some point, but yeah. So I'm forever thinking about what's going on in my garden. I didn't plant those were left over from last year, and yeah. Garden grows like crazy. We planted our 20 trees a couple of weeks back. Still got some aki here. We've got some kawa. We've got some Amian nuts, harakeke we're growing. We've got some kai kohe. I've come across Nico, and I'm really liking how they grow, and so I'm going to start a Nico mara as well, and there's obviously our strawberries. And just so you can see what we've done here, this was our main strawberry patch, and then runners started coming off, and all I did was I just planted the runners inside here, and it allows them to take, and so effectively I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 strawberry clumps in that one. Got one down there, another one in that one, a couple of that one. I've got this one here, got 1, 2 in there, got one there, I've got 2 in there. So effectively I've got 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Off that main planting box, I've now created 12 more strawberries, and the idea being is that I can either plant out our strawberry patch here, just make it bigger, or what I'll probably do is I'll plant these around our fruit trees on our papaconia, just to add a bit of diversity and ground cover for our fruit trees on the mother. It's raining here now. The other thing that I'm thinking about is water security and sustainability, and thinking about how we preserve water. So I'm doing a lot of research around that. On this site I've got these rubbish bins, 70 litre bins that I'm just using the rain to capture them. So I've got, as you can see over there, one over there, another one over there. I'm and this probably this part of the year, as we move towards Matariki and go through winter, and we do get a lot of rain, it is about water preservation for our mara, so that when it comes to the summertime we're able to keep our gardening going. Drip systems, water systems, mist spray, all these types of fixtures. Using shelter, using mulch to keep the moisture inside the soil. So this is what it is for us. All that stuff that we're doing. Aki, Tepa is made out of aki. I'm going to be planting some more of that. I've got Kitty is growing native fauna and flora And so I had a bit of a discussion with him, and I was a little bit naughty. You see this flex tree here, or this flex bush? As I grab this one off it, because unlike this one, it's just one. Huh? Look here, I've got some babies going through. So I'll sift these out, and I can actually make some more. So I'll stay with the main mother, but I'll replant these other ones. I'll break them up and replant them. So I've actually got, even though I got those three together, he's given me another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by that option there. Again, that's to help around the garden on the marakai. So I'm thinking about the cleansing and filtering of water. So flex are used for cleansing process, but also we've got weavers and those who love raranga and employ traditional methods around weaving and the use of harakeke, extraction of muka, whiri, kite, kakahu, those processes. So what we're trying to do is, as we grow our garden space, that we allow and adapt for the variety of people that are working in this space for us. Yeah, so even though it's raining, I'll probably do a bit of cleaning up the tools in the tool shed. I've got my worms in there. I probably won't look at those ones, but I've got some in the shed. I'll have a nosy at them, see how they're going, and if they feel a little bit damp, I might add some dry materials, carbon, just to soak up the water. If they're a bit dry, I'll put in some green materials and some of that rotten, or that fruit there, it's or leftovers of the feed jar skins, and just add moisture to it. Or I might just give them a little bit of mist, spray a bit of mist water. So today I've got a medical, so I'm just going over to the medical centre, which is around the back there. That's at 11:15, and then I'm off the Pai here. I'm doing some mentoring with someone, and so I'll be having a chat to them for an hour, and then I'm meeting up with some of our leadership, and we're just reviewing our constitution as a church, making sure that we're kind of up to date with needs and concerns, but also mindful of we need to review the processes and systems that we have in place as an organisation, making sure that it's fit for purpose, and all the things that we've talked about over the last 4 or 5 years and motions we've made, that we adopt those as opposed to just being amendments to the Constitution or to our rules, SOPs. So we're just doing an updating process on that. And then, so I finish my fast at midday, and between midday and 8 at night, I'll have a feed, and pretty much I just eat whatever I want, but I'm not actually eating a lot. We generally now only have one major meal a day, and so I got a bit of clay last night, and Josh and I are going to have steak with garlic butter and some steak chips, and I'll probably have an egg, so I'll lump it up with protein. Yeah, that's us, son. Whānau. That's what we're doing here. Food security, sustainability, thinking about health, and we're starting with ourselves. So the tomokana of our program is about self-leadership, leading ourselves, and the disciplines that comes with that. And so food security, sustainability, and health and hauora all starts with ourselves. It starts with our ability to think about reflecting on. There's a parable or a whakatauki that says, ko te kai, he oranga te kai. Food is medicine. Our medicine is food. And in our hard and fast and busy pace of life, we need to think about what you're eating and what we're doing. So some of the things that we're trying to do is just adapt to the busyness of life and think about reconnecting to the environment and growing our own kai. As you saw on the windowsill as you were looking through, I picked some tomatoes yesterday before they're really ripe, and I'll sit them on my windowsill because once the sugars start happening and the ripening starts going, you actually don't need to leave them on there. So like those ones over there, see how there's a tinge of red on those ones? Like that one, where's the finger? That one there. There's enough energy inside of that now, I could put that on my windowsill and it'll ripen up. And then I've got tomatoes. Yeah, man. Anyway, look at those flowers. So we're trying to encourage bees, pollinators. So rosemary, borage, helps the soil. What else have we got on there that we're wanting to grow? So those lovely orange. I haven't actually had to do anything with those. They've been self-seeding. Yeah, lavender. Going to plant lavender around the place. So the rosemary, plant heaps of that. And I saw a garden a couple of weeks back where had lots of rosemary around it, just the aroma. That and lavender. Yeah, it's awesome. Here's our little herb garden down here. Make sure you don't plant mint in there, otherwise it takes over. Combine the mint and chocolate back. But this is a way to go. Kaitaki Marakai. This is not a medical video. This video is made for the particular purpose, for education purposes only. As I said at the start, if you are wanting to adopt some of the things that we are doing, please check with your medical practitioner first, or those who give advice that are certified to change a medication or add medication or add these to your health plan. I've done that. I talk to my doctor and I tell him what I'm thinking of doing, and you know, for example, because of my heart issue that I had last August, I'm wanting to get off or minimise the need for some of the medication I'm on, and the doctor's giving me some weight thresholds to hit, and he's indicated that if you hit those, then we'll get rid of one of them and you're probably half the amount for the others. So I just told him what I've been doing, what I've been researching, and I've complemented the medical advice. Dr. Myron Wentz talks about this, like that the main medical fraternity is like a Concorde or a 747 plane that flies, and your alternative health remedies and multi-minerals and diets and fitness programs are like the jets, F-16s or whatever the most modern jets are, flying beside each other. They are planes and they help us, and they complement each other. One's not to take over from each other side of things. So please do check with your medical practitioner, as I've done. So I've got a bit of a plan that's going on, and I started this fasting after Christmas and New Year's. It was a bit of my New Year's resolution. Once I've done a bit of research, talked to the doctor, and so I've gone from 97 kilograms down to, like I weighed myself this morning, I'm 91.6, and my goal is 88, and then there'll be some big changes in regards to the medication I'm taking. So I'm actually not that far off. In 2 months I've lost that. 6 kilograms, which I'm pretty massive. And I'm feeling good. Running easier. As I say, I'm doing 50 press ups, so I'm not carrying much weight. Yeah, anyway, that's what I'm doing. And please check with your doctor and your medical practitioners before you make any lifestyle changes, just to make sure that it's right for you and you kind of know your body. And like the gardening, I do a test and adjust. I don't do all the stuff at one hit. I'll just test things, see how I'm going. Yeah, drink water if possible. Yeah, get to know how you're wired. Please click the like button, click the share button, help the algorithms get this out there. That we're trying to encourage whānau to look after their own health, look after their food security and sustainability. A time's coming when this is going to be hard, and access to food. We already know food's expensive, so what we're trying to do is create solutions, germinating, saving seeds, got a seed bank in here, minimise the logistic process of access to our food. So if I don't have to go somewhere else to get kai, I've now just broken down the expense of our kai. Alright, sorry for such a long video, but on a rainy day when there's nothing else to do, we are watching the rain all disappear into the land. So there's a bit of, now I'm getting onto another hobby horse. It's a bit, we're hypocrites here in New Zealand in one way, because in winter, and like it is right now, there is enough water to feed us all. It's not the problem of not enough water, is we don't know how to save it and we don't know how to store it. Now yes, we need to fill up our dams and aquifers and water systems around the place, but like what we're doing here, I can catch water off there, I can catch water off the church, I can catch water off this lean-to, I can put buckets out. Yeah, we need to think about how we save our water and use that for irrigation and watering side of things. It's the big thing that we're trying to do this time of year, and it's going to be one of my next main projects, is water preservation on our whakatanga, storage, utilising, ultimately. Hoi anō, he mihi atu kia koutou i tēnei wā, tēnā koutou mō koutou wā i mā taki ana te kōrero. May the Lord bless you and keep you, may his face continually shine upon you as you seek him. And remember, whatever you're going through right now, this too shall pass. And I promise that the Lord loves you and he's with you. He said he'd never leave us or forsake us. Thank you.